Okay, so I'm about to review the last Prince album in my collection, or to be technical, the artist. This is The Gold Experience, released in 1995. Um, this was released on. It was like to put it bluntly, it was released on MPG Records, but it was still under like Warner Brothers. But if you want to be technical and stuff like that, it was like his first independent release. If you want to be technical, 1995. Singles I was known for are "The Most Beautiful Girl in the World," which I mentioned, "I Hate You," "Gold," and Billy Jack Bitch. Wait, not Billy Jack Bitch. Um, Pussy Control. A lot of people kind of consider that to be a single, but it's like more of like I would say an underground single or stuff like that. But it did get kind of some hype and shit, but it is what it is. Okay, so as I mentioned in the Come review, basically what ended up happening, he was working on this album first, but he wanted to submit both Come and the Gold Experience. He wanted to release them both at the same time. Come being like the last album he did as Prince. Gold Experience would be his rebirth, like the artist formerly known as Prince, or that. Okay, so around this time, what ended up happening? So just to rehash some shit, a lot of some of the songs like he was working on, he reworked some of the songs and shit like that, and the songs that he reworked like it added like a bit of more polished tone and shit like that as previous, as during the Come era. Well, during y'all know what I'm getting at and shit. So yeah, that's basically what you got with this album. Mhm. And it's kind of crazy though because like when he dropped like the most beautiful girl in the world and shit like that, he actually had to pay $2,000, of his own money and shit like that just to promote it and shit. So yeah, I put it on his own NPG label. So the Gold Experience, this is the cover right here. If you look very closely, you'll see like his face and shit like that, like buried under the gold and shit. I gotta be real. When I first got the CD, I didn't even notice his face like when I really first got the CD and shit like that. So I was kind of like, oh wow, okay. And of course, it's that symbol right there. Got of course got the lyrics and shit. Yeah, I think people from his band and stuff. Very interesting picture and shit. Yeah, that, that. And while I'm showing you this, like, so and I found this part very interesting too, and so like that. It just really tells a story, right? In this area, it tells a story about like the album and stuff like that, and shit like that. How he got the name, and of course the beautiful experience and shit like that. So yeah, I kind of found that to be very interesting. So yeah, this album. All right, so and that's the interesting thing about this album as well. Like the album is like it's some of the songs are separated and shit like that, as MPG operator and stuff like that, and it would just say you're now about to enter the experience and stuff like that. So yeah, so I kind of found that to be very cool. Like if you guys know like about the Midnight Marauders, that the Tribe Called Quest album, it's kind of like similar in that vein, but with a twist and shit. So yeah. Okay, so let's get it started and shit. 18 songs. Well, technically it's about one, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 12. Technically it's 12 songs. So yeah. Track number one, Pussy Control, or P Control, but we all know what P means. This has got to be one of his most sexually charged singles he's ever came out with. Like, when I first heard it, I was just like, damn, what the fuck? Like he has some of the best screams in this album, and not in this song and in this album and shit like that. So yeah, very cool song. It has like a cult status when it comes to his fans and shit like that. The rapping, I gotta admit, the rapping was pretty good and shit like that on that song. I mean, I'm not really a big fan when he raps and shit, but over the years, like during that era, it's kind of got used to it. That's all I'm trying to say. Then after that NPG operator, then we get to Endorphin Machine. Um, that song was okay. I wasn't really too fond of that song like that. Basically, a lot of fans they don't like the album version of the song because of the fact that the original version that was originally supposed to be on the Come album, it had more of like a raw feeling to it and shit like that. Whereas when he reworked some of the songs, he polished the song and shit like that, which I'm gonna get into after I review this album and stuff. So yeah, so that's Endorphin Machine. Then we get to okay, so a little trivia about that song. In 1993, Prince actually wrote that song for Tevin Campbell and shit like that. You guys, I mentioned Tevin Campbell, in my the Graffiti Bridge review and shit like that. And he gave him that song, and he used that song for the I'm Ready album, which I need to get that fucking album and shit like that. Like, I need to get that album. And so, what ended up the reason why he did his own version of the song he wrote was because, from what I looked up, Tevin Campbell went to one of his shows. I think doing when he was doing the Act Two basically the Act Two tour or some shit like that, and he kind of told Prince, to stop playing his songs and shit like that. So Prince was all like, you know what, fuck this. I want to make my own version of the song I wrote for you, and it's gonna be a lot better than the song I produced for you and shit like that. And if you ask me, this is how I see it. If you ask me which version is the best version, Tevin's Campbell, Tevin's version of is basically, I like that song because it gets you in the mood, with your woman and shit like that. But Prince's version is like more authentic, more dynamic and shit like that. And if you have like a good system, you play that song, you won't regret it. That's all I'm gonna say. Like, very cool song. I love the drum solo on that song. Oh, I forgot to mention the personnel of the album. Yeah, he has like Stunny T on bass, Michael B on drums, Mr. Hayes on keyboards, of course. Maete is doing some spoken word vocals and shit like that. Um, and Lenny Kravitz, he did some backing vocals on Billy Jack Bitch and shit. So yeah, just to let y'all know. But yeah, it's basically one of a pretty interesting take on that song and shit. I'll give him that. Then we get to We March, featuring Nona Gay. Nona Gay, of course, she's actually the daughter of the late great Marvin Gaye and shit like that. Um, Supposedly she and Prince were dating and they were working on a lot of music together and stuff like that. We March. I could have done without that song. I mean, I got what they were trying to do with that song. All of us uniting together, but just the way the final product, it was just a bit too cheesy and shit like that. And just to let you know, he did not. He actually written the song before the Million Man March that happened in 1995 and stuff like that. Because they played this song at the Million Man March and stuff. So a lot of people kind of link that event and that song together. So it is what it is. Then we get to the most beautiful girl in the world. In my opinion, this has got to be one of his best ballads in my opinion and shit like that. But I like the 1994 version of the song because I felt like that song was like more. His vocals were just more stripped down and shit like that. It was more authentic. What the hell? Give me one second. That's my okay. That's odd, but I'll fix that later. One of my keys is not working, but it's all good. So yeah, like I love that song. I love how passionate his vocals are, and you can you can tell he written that song for Maite and shit like that, cause they were really getting close, around that time and stuff like that, and they eventually married. When did they marry? They married, I think, either 95, 96, one of them years and shit like that. And so yeah, and it's crazy because Maite actually did her own version of the song called "The Most Beautiful Boy in the World" off her album "Child of the Sun." And the crazy thing about this is like, out of all the remixes, the Mustang mix though, hmm, that's all I'm gonna say. Y'all have to check that shit out. Then we get to Dolphin. Dolphin. That was another interesting song. I believe like he was talking about like reincarnation with that song, and the reason why I think he picked the dolphin because like the dolphin is supposed to represent like freedom and communication and stuff like that. It has a strong sense in this community, so that's why I feel like he kind of picked that song with that. You know what I'm saying? Then we get to now, which I kind of see like a little club banger. It was pretty alright. It was pretty alright. 319. Okay, so 319. That's a song where he was inspired by Elizabeth Berkley's character off the movie Showgirls. And Showgirls, if you guys have not seen that movie was off the chain. That's all I'm gonna say. I might do a review on that movie one day, but yeah, and like Elizabeth Berkley, you guys should know. She played that girl, Jessie from Saved by the Bell and stuff like that. So that's another story for a different day. Yeah. So, and of course, like the reason why I call it 319 because I think one of the rooms of the characters. It's been a while since I've seen the movie. It has 319. So I remember Showgirls was like a huge thing back in 95, 96. But yeah. Next we have Shy, which I kind of feel like Shy was like somewhat of a sequel between like what's that song, Barbara George and shit like that from the Black album. It just talks about like how the narrator, which is Prince, he doesn't believe that a woman confessed to a murder and stuff like that. So yeah. Then we get Billy Jack Bitch. Pretty cool song. Love how funky that song is. That song is just basically addressing his critics and shit like that. How they say like he was like played out about around that time, which I'm gonna get into that after I review this, which I gotta hurry because my camera's about to die out soon. So yeah, very cool song. One particular journalist named CJ thought that it was aimed at her, but Prince heavily denied it when they had an interview and shit. So yeah. Then we get to I Hate You, which is my favorite song of this album. Um, yeah, man, like self-explanatory. It's talking about like how this girl cheats on Prince and shit like that, and he doesn't know. He just like goes all out crazy, like basically like halfway through the song, he takes it to chord and shit, and then the guitar solo. And the crazy thing about I read like this song was actually about Carmen Electra, because if you guys know she was signed under his label, and she put out that one album. Yeah, she thought she was gonna be famous off that, but let me stop. Let me stop. Okay, so I'm laughing. I'm laughing because according to Carmen Electra, she said that Prince made a song about her, and he basically played this whole song, and she was just surprised by that song. So yeah, I kind of thought that was kind of funny though. But the Quiet Storm mix, definitely check that out. I love the Quiet Storm mix. And the last song off this album is Gold. Um, love the song, like the way they end this whole album off. And basically, Gold. A lot of people will say it's, including Prince himself, will say it's like the next Purple Rain. I will. I can see what he's saying that, but I feel like it's a huge improvement over the song Graffiti Bridge and shit like that. But yeah, and the B side, Rock and Roll is Alive and It Lives in Minneapolis, that was actually a response to the Lenny Kravitz song The Rock and Roll is Dead. So I thought that was pretty interesting and shit, but nice B side. And I want to talk about a few of these the unreleased songs like Acknowledge Me. Fucking love that song. That should have been on the fucking album and shit. That one and Days of the Wild. Oh my god. Even though Days of Wild was like a live song and stuff like that, it still fit that whole album. Like, and you had songs like Repop Gotta Zipa, Hide the Bone, Listen to the Rhythm. Like, yeah, man. But this album, in my opinion, this album is good, but it's not as good as everyone makes it out to be. And let me just say, like, a lot of people will say this was like his best album since Sign of the Times, which I won't disagree with that. But my only gripe about this album is I feel like it's overproduced, like a lot of overdubs and shit like that, and just some of the mixing was kind of a little bit. But like certain songs like Endorphin Machine, um, Now, and shit like that, Pussy Control, it had like a bit overproduction towards it, but overall, I feel like it's a solid release. I feel like it's an improvement over Come. Wait, hold on. Let me see. Let me see. That's, yeah, yeah. I would say it's a little improvement over Come. I would say that and shit like that. And yeah, man, like Gold Experience. What more can I say? Still a good album and shit like that. The sound wise, production wise, like a bit overproduced, but Prince was still bringing it with the guitar solos and shit like that. Braggadocio and everything. So, and he felt like a bit more happy with this project. I felt like he felt a bit more happy. You can tell by his voice and the way he was singing some of the songs and shit. And that is the last Prince album I'm gonna do a review on. And if I get some more of his albums, like, cause a lot of his albums, like post Gold Experience, are very hard to come by. Well, except for the Artificial Age and shit like that, and this shit he did with that the Third Eye shit. So yeah, so but definitely, if I was to get some more of his albums, I definitely want to cop the Rainbow Children, which is very hard to come by. Musicology, 3121, maybe Emancipation if it's at a good price though. But yeah, all right, man. Stay tuned for more. Thank y'all for watching. Hit that subscribe button. Peace.